Hello, 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 and welcome to the Maxine Phillips Life Strategy Show. I'm your show host, Maxine Phillips, and so glad to have you with us this evening. Listen, reach out, tell someone that the Life Strategy Show is on, and come on in and join the conversation. That's right, join the conversation. Here we are in December already, the 12th month of the year, which means we should be planning for 2024. So let's talk about life strategies and level less. The name of the company is Level Less Career Coaching and Talent Performance Consulting. What we do here is we work with youth, high school and college, as well as adults who are in transition. Now, in transition could mean that you're unemployed, underemployed, you're looking to be promoted, or you've been promoted and you want to develop yourself even more. So that's a transition. Transitions can also be that you need to prepare a resume, you need to prepare yourself for interviewing. So at Level Less, the sky is not the limit. And we do not want you limiting yourself. We want you to think outside the box. Instead, we want you to think of success without levels. That's right. I know you're used to hearing climb the corporate ladder or level up or next level. But at Level Less, we believe that the levelist mindset is to succeed without levels. In order to do that, we empower you to develop yourself along the way, your strengths. We also help you to discover who you are from your core, from that DNA. What's your makeup? What's your persona? What is it that you love to do? And we want you to do what you love. In the discovery phase, we also want to encourage you to look at your abilities. Where are your strengths? And according to those abilities and strengths, we want you to be able to look at them, take a deep dive look at them so that you choose the best career and the profession that complements those abilities and strengths. And when that happens, ladies and gentlemen, believe me, those individuals who've done that and who've taken the time, they are happy, they're fulfilled, and they're making the salary that they want so that they can live the life that they deserve. So that's the discovery side. Then we have the define side. And the define side is to define what strategy means to you. So as you go into 2024, we want you to be able to create a strategy around who you are and what your strengths and what your abilities are. So if you can define what success looks like for you, then you can put a strategy in place in order for you to complete it during 2024. So we talked about discover. We've just talked about define. Then we want you to design, and that's where you design the strategy. You put a game plan, a blueprint, a roadmap. You put action items to it, timelines. You know exactly the steps that you need to take, the people that you're going to talk to, even the careers that you're going to choose. So if there is someone that you need to do an informational session with, then you're able to do that informational session with them. And you do that in the design phase, because in the design phase is where you want to make sure that you have your action steps and your goals and your objectives. If we pause for a moment and we think about those goals and objectives, I want you to write down at least 3 goals or an objectives for yourself for 2024. Now, notice I said goals and objectives. I did not say a resolution. What are you going to, do for 2024? Your New Year's resolution. I want you to have content. and context to what you see yourself completing in 2024. Because remember, levelless is about success without levels. In order to have that success without levels, that means you have to have a game plan. You must have your strategies in place. You must understand what the goals and objectives are so that you can focus on the goal or focus on the objectives. And when you do that, then you're able to execute and deliver with the standard of excellence. It should always be about quality. Don't ever leave quality out of that you're doing to deliver, to show yourself accountable. Whether you're working for someone or whether you're working for yourself as an entrepreneur, but you still must be accountable. And then we have, thank you, Michelle is watching. Hey, yes, Michelle, you already know about all that, putting objectives in place. The other thing that you want to do is after you deliver, you want to deliver with what? Quality. And you want to deliver with excellence. When you do those 5 Ds that I just spoke about, the first one was discover who you are, your abilities and your strengths. The second one was to define what success looks like for you. The third is to design a strategy around that success plan that you're going to create for yourself. And then you want to discover, you want to develop yourself, your strengths and your abilities along the way. And then you want to deliver and execute with excellence. We call that our 5D plan, and that's the levelless mindset that we have here at Levelless. And levelless is about a movement, it's a shift in the mindset because we've been conditioned to climb a ladder, or we've been conditioned that success only looks right if you are going higher and higher and higher. But in actuality, success is about you meeting the goals and objectives that you've established for yourself. Now, you might have to have someone to help you, and that's where you have a mentor, you have a coach, you might have a support system, you might have a team. All of those people are integral, and they mean really a whole lot in order to help you complete your goals and objectives. But I want you to start thinking about 2024. Write at least 3 goals and objectives for yourself. That way you have something that you're focusing on. Focus on the goals. And when you're focusing on the goals, I want you to keep in mind everything you do must lead to you accomplishing or completing the strategies that you put in place so that you can meet the goals and objectives that you set for yourself. If it does not, you need to rethink, should you actually be taking time and doing that particular task, or being a part of a project, or going to a different conference or a seminar or a workshop. And it could be that many times individuals feel like they need to continue their education, and education can look different in so many different arenas. One could be college, a higher education. The other could be that it's self-development, that you're reading books, or you do have a mentor that has taken you under their wings and they are helping you to move forward in accomplishing your goals. But whatever it is that you choose to do, just remember, keep an open mind and have always a learning disposition. It's continuous learning. So that takes us from that part of the program. Now let's talk about, as you finishing up 2023. I want to focus in on tonight about performance. And that's, how did you perform in 2023? How would you rate yourself? Don't wait on the manager to rate you. You give yourself a rating, and in giving yourself that rating, I would love for you to be able to justify what makes you ready to receive that particular rating. Very rare do we find someone who's going to rate themselves less than satisfactory. But if you're going to rate yourself satisfactory, exceed expectations, outstanding, then justify the rating. And if you can justify it to yourself, then you know you can justify it to your manager. I always say, don't leave it to your manager to remember everything that you've done for 2023 and expect them to then give you a rating based on their memory. What you do is you have it already prepared for them. So that's the performance side, the talent performing or performance management. But it's important that you keep documentation all year long to justify the rating that you see yourself receiving. I know when I worked for an organization, I always had my performance pre-written so that when I sat down with my manager, then I had examples that could justify why I felt I should receive a particular rating that I was suggesting on my behalf. You're an advocate. Know your worth. So, in order to know your worth, that means that you have to have achieved these items or these goals and these objectives during the year. But again, don't leave it for your manager to remember all of the accomplishments or all of the achievements that you completed during 2023. I know we had just had a break, a holiday break. We have another break that's coming up in another week or so, and that's, the December holiday break. Take that time, take 1 or 2 days for yourself and pause. Recall the things that you've done in 2023 if you have not already kept a journal. You have not already recorded how you have been performing during the year. Michelle is saying, yes, ma'am, good stuff. I tell you, I was considered the performance management expert for the telecommunication company that I worked for. And I traveled internationally to train individuals on the performance management process. Of course, the employees would call me show me the money lady because I would help them to understand how do you document your achievements and you can justify the rating that you're suggesting to your manager that you receive. And it depends on your company and it depends on how, they rate performance. I mean, all different companies have different ratings, but if you want the highest rating that they offer, then be ready to justify it and don't leave it to chance by your manager to remember it all. Impossible. Absolutely impossible. So I'd like to see if we have any questions. Ask me any questions. Ask the HR expert. Ask the performance management expert. Ask the resume expert. Ask the interviewing expert. You have this expert sitting in front of you. So ask me. Allow me to help you move forward in your career and in your profession. So let me pause for a moment and see if I have any questions out here. All right. No questions yet? Well, why don't you just reach out to someone and say, hey, listen, Ask the Expert is on the line, Maxine Pearl Phillips. I have over 40 years in HR, performance management, talent management, succession planning, customer service, you name it, compensation, benefits, been there, done that. So let's see if I can help you help yourself as you move out of 2023 and into 2024. Don't take it for granted. Be prepared. Now is the time to prepare yourself for 2024. This is the best thing that you could do for yourself. So, Michelle, I know, oh, wow, Michelle is doing so many phenomenal things with her business. And so tell me, Michelle, do you have any questions that you have had individuals to come to you and ask you about as far as moving forward in their career? How do you respond if your manager does not agree with what you have written up for yourself to get that bonus? I love the word that you use, Michelle, bonus, because companies can look at a performance rating several ways. One could be an incentive, which means that you have a stretch goal that you had to meet during the year. And that's where the bonus comes in at if you met it. And then it could be an end of year annual raise, depending on the rating that you receive. But it depends on the company that you work for as to how they go about giving you that extra pay. If the manager does not agree with the rating, now there are several things that must take place. At the beginning of the year, you should have already agreed upon the goal and objectives that you were going to complete by year end. So you as an employee need to be real with yourself and say, one, did I communicate with my manager? I would say at least quarterly, if not monthly, how I was doing in my performance. Again, remember I said, don't wait on a manager. You be proactive. Two, have you documented the items or the steps and the actions that you took in order to complete that goal? Which means the goal, if it was a challenge or a situation or a task, what actions did you take in order to complete the goal? Write those actions down. I'm talking about for every single goal that you listed, you should have had an action plan against it. And we call those SMART goals many times. And the SMART goal can mean, did you write it specifically where it identified what it was that you were going to accomplish? And the M would mean measurable. Did you have metrics against it? You know, your knowledge, skills, and abilities, your metrics. And then, was it attainable? Was it applicable to the goals and to your roles and responsibilities that you were assigned and the goal that you established? And then the R would be relevant. Was it realistic, and was it relevant at the same time? There's no point in setting a goal if it's not going to be a realistic goal. And and then the T means time frame. Did you put a time frame around by when you were going to have this goal accomplished? Every single one of your goals should not have been by December 31st. Let's be real. So there are some short-term goals and there are some long-term goals. But it's important that you know and your manager knows exactly which is going to be which and what have you agreed upon. So that should have happened at least in January or February at the beginning of the year. So that's why I'm talking about performance management now, because if you did not do it for 2023, guess what? Now you can do it for 2024. So after you and your manager would have agreed upon those goals and it was approved and both of you all signed off on it, then you knew what was expected. Now, there's something else that should have happened when you established those goals at the beginning of the year. You should have known whether or not that goal was written realistically and the time frame was realistic as well. Michelle saying this is great. And there's a whole workshop that I do on this, Michelle, to help individuals to write real, realistic, smart goals and objectives so that they can get that bonus at the end of the year. So that's one of the reasons why they said, show me the money, lady. So once you've done that, then you've written it out and you and your manager have agreed upon it. And now you should have recognized, and your manager should have recognized, were there some challenges against the goals that you wrote? Are you able to complete those goals, or do you need additional development? Are you going to need assistance? And if so, is there a particular person in your department that should have shared that goal? Is there a particular project that you're going to have to put together? And if so, do you have a project team? And do you know project management in order to know how to run a project? And if not, maybe that's the development that you need is project management. So that should have been a part of your development plan. And the manager should have approved you to maybe take project management as a workshop or go to another particular class or become certified. You all would have to know what you're going to agree doing moving forward in your roles and responsibilities. So that's what needs to happen at the beginning of the year. And I would say no more than at least the first quarter of every year, you should have those goals and objectives not only written, but approved And therefore, you know if there's some additional development that you're going to need during the year. And if you need that development during the year, that's where the manager must sign off on, can you actually do that development? And if so, is there a cost against it so it can be on in the budget? And you would know exactly whether or not it's being approved, opposed to waiting until the mid-year or at almost the end of the year saying, well, I never did get that project management class, so now I didn't finish the project. No, we don't want to do that. We want to be proactive and not reactive. So that's what should happen in the first quarter. And I do performance management workshops. I do come to organizations and we talk about performance management. What does it look like for your organization and how best to move forward with those, I call it talent performance. Now, I'm not talking about succession planning. That's something totally different. This is definitely performance and your each individual performance. And the manager must know each person on their team. Now, this is the other thing I want you to take into consideration when you are creating objectives for 2024. You must ensure that your manager has shared with you what the department objectives are or what their objectives are. Because the most important thing is that the objectives are cascade. They're coming down the pipeline from the executives down to the mid managers, down to the first level managers, down to the employees or individual contributors. But then those individual contributors and everyone else objectives needs to roll up to the next level. And so that to ensure that at the end of the year, the organization has met their organizational goals. If you have disconnect in any level, you're subject not to meet your organizational goals during that year or by the end of the year. And some bonuses are tied, majority of the bonuses are tied to the organizational goals. So let's face it, every person in that organization contributes to the bottom line. Every person in that organization contributes to the bottom line. I have to keep emphasizing that because some employees don't realize that they contribute to the organization goals. But everybody in the organization does. So please, 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 please keep that in mind. Now, let's talk about it as you move it into 2024 and your manager has not given you their goals and objectives. There is nothing wrong with you asking for them. There is nothing wrong for you asking for a meeting to talk about your goals. Now, just like we're ending 2023, there is nothing wrong with you asking your manager to sit down with you and have that conversation about 2023 year end and your performance. Not every organization does performance reviews, but it does not mean that you can't start one. It doesn't mean that you can't ask your manager for one. And remember, Michelle just say, so what if your manager does not agree with the rating that you established for yourself? Well, it's not on the manager's point in order to say, well, Maxine, you wanted an outstanding rating, and I disagree with this outstanding rating. Well, see, Maxine is going to keep her documentation, so Maxine can justify why she feels she deserves the outstanding rating. Now, I can feel like I deserve that rating all I want to feel, but then there are some organizations who are only going to give so many outstandings, so many exceeding expectations, meeting expectations. Now, I'm not saying that there's a quota for less than expectations. So don't find yourself in a less than expectation mode. There is no reason for it. If you listen to this video, you already know that it's up to you to make sure that your objectives rose up to your manager's objectives. And your goal is not only to meet your objectives, but also to help your manager meet their objectives so the department can meet their objectives. So then the organization can meet their objectives. Everybody plays a very pivotal role when it comes to organizational success. You success as an individual contributor, the department of success, the organization cannot help but to be successful. So do what you know you're to do by creating those goals and objectives, and you meet them. Don't ever set a goal and objective that you know you're not going to make. Don't. Have a conversation with your manager that is not realistic, or the time frame is not realistic. Maybe it's not the objective, but it's the time frame in which you have to complete the objectives. Very well could not be realistic. So, Michelle, is there any other questions that you have that any of your clients have asked you about when it comes to performance? Well, let me share this with you when it comes to performance. You have roles and responsibilities that you were hired for. You had a job description. Reread that job description and ensure that you are actually doing those roles and responsibilities that the job description states that you were hired to do. If you're doing above and beyond, it's even more critical. It's even essential for you to document and show what you've done above and beyond the roles and responsibilities that you were hired to do. That can be justification as to why you feel like you deserve the rating that you're telling your boss you deserve. But if you give your boss the justification around it, and the manager is paying attention and they're able to give you that rating, or maybe if there's 10 in his department and all 10 people coming to him saying they're all outstanding, let's be real. Majority of the time, all 10 are not going to be rated outstanding. So if I be realistic with you, they're not going to be rated outstanding. So, but we have to look at what's the justification behind you accomplishing those goals and objectives. I can't help but to keep emphasizing that. That's how you can get the bonuses. And then that's just one part of the bonus, because the bonus usually are incentive bonus, and those are your short-term goals. What is Michelle saying? How do I get my manager to be, to be an advocate? Oh, Michelle, you are so good. That's a good question. So let me finish this thought. So when you meet those goals and objectives, you got two types. You have short-term incentives, then you have your regular goals and objectives for the role that you were hired to be and to do. So the short-term incentives are usually very, very stretch goals. I mean, it's going to stretch you in order to achieve it. And that's where usually the bonus comes in at. And there's usually already agreed upon a percentage that you will be warranted that at the end of the year if you were to meet that goal. And then we have your annual raises or promotions, whatever your company does. Not everyone is guaranteed to get an annual raise. Not everyone is guaranteed to get a bonus. So just know that it depends on the organization and the way everything is linked and aligned. So we get back to Michelle's question is, how do I get my manager to be an advocate if I want to move into another position within the company? Okay, so you want your manager to be an advocate. I am going to put it like this. Your manager is one individual in the company, and you must report to that manager, and you have your roles and responsibilities. But it's not only the manager who can be an advocate for you when it comes to promotion. That's why it's important that you understand how to build relationships. And you need to build relationships throughout the organization and not just with one or two individuals within the organization. You need to be volunteering for different projects. If there are community engagements or social responsibilities that the company does outside of the work hours, it's nothing wrong with you volunteering for that. Are there special forums that you see yourself that you can be on? Ask to be on that forum, even if you're not nominated to be on the forum. Share with your manager where you see yourself going in the organization. Share with your manager some of the things that you see yourself as far as progressing through the organization. Remember, success without levels. You can be successful without always climbing. It could be lateral, and you could be successful. So don't always, have that change in mindset that it's not always up, up, up in order for you to be successful, but it could be a lateral move for you. And getting your manager to be an advocate is only one person, but don't leave it just to the manager. I want you to think broad, and I want you to start building relationships throughout the organization. And just think about, you've got two or three people coming from different organizations to, I mean, different sides of the organization, talking to your manager about the things that you're doing, the programs that you've helped them on, being proactive, being detailed, taking initiative. Your manager can't help but to take notice. So that's why I say don't leave it just to the manager to be an advocate. But if they're not an advocate, then that's a conversation that you're going to want to have if you've already shared with the manager where you see yourself going in the organization. Now, I never will forget, I had a client and I was coaching the client, and I said, "Where do you see yourself going in this organization that you're in?" And they said, "Well, I'm not totally sure." And I said, "Well, I want you to think about two or three areas in the organization that you see yourself going into." And we did an exercise. And within 2 weeks, the organization manager had a conversation with this individual and asked them, where do they see themselves going in the organization? And guess what? They had three different options that they were able to offer the manager when they were asked that question. That's what I want you to think about. Where is it that you see yourself going? You remember I said discover who you are from your core so that you know your strengths and you know your abilities. When you know that, then that can position you in other different areas within the organization. You're not limited to stay in a particular department because you were hired into that department, but prove yourself. Do outstanding work so you're ready to take a lateral move. If it's not an upward move, it could be a lateral move. And the lateral move meaning that you're getting to know other people and other people are getting to know you. So there's different ways that you can have your manager to be an advocate because other people will be feeding into the manager. And a little secret sauce, have those other individuals to write you a recommendation letter when you've worked on a project, when you've done a program, when you helped them with a certain thing that they needed help with, or you went to them and asked, what could you do because you saw that there was a need, opposed to them asking you for help. So don't be afraid to step out and say, hey, what can I do to help you all complete this project? We have, a little time over here. We've been able to complete our project. So what can we do to help you? Because after all, it's the company. Remember, everything leads up to the overarching company. You want that organization to be successful. In order for that organization to be successful, everybody doing what they can do to help make that organization successful. So when we have that shift in mindset, yeah, it could be the growth mindset. I call it the levelist mindset because it's success without levels. And we can all play a part. So I trust I answered that question for you, Michelle. How do you get your manager to be an advocate? Other managers can also feed into the manager by sharing with them what they have seen you do and what an outstanding job that you've done. So the other thing is, what have you decided for yourself that you would like to complete during the year? 2023, what did you do versus when you started 2023? How did you end 2023? What did you accomplish? I just completed a TED Talk, and the TED Talk was about transformation, write, share, live, living your legacy. Those things that you did in the year is a part of you living your legacy. So, what did you do? What have you already done that would make an impact on your life and an impact on others? Levelless is success without levels. And you can easily help others accomplish your goals as you're accomplishing your goals. Don't always have it, what's in it for me? But what can we do together that can make it better for everyone as a part of that organization. Let me see if I have any other questions out here. Listen, y'all, this is some good stuff. I like Michelle said, yes, ma'am. Good stuff. Good stuff. All right, listen, I don't see any questions out here. And we're talking about, living your legacy and performance. This is the end of the year. So you've got your performance reviews. Please take them seriously. Take time to write what you see yourself and how you have accomplished things. Don't leave it by chance for your manager. That's the last thing you want to do. It's not the manager's responsibility to remember everything that you've done through the year. And it could be some things that you've done they don't even realize that you're doing, but you took it upon yourself to help another organization or to help another department. I'm sorry, not another organization, but another department or another manager or another employee. So that's about building relationships. That's about making sure that you're a team player. And yeah, they met their goals, you met your goals, and then the whole organization met its goals. That's really the objective. So don't lose sight of that. What can you do to help the organization become successful or stay successful? So that will be that part of it. All right. So we talked about you documenting or having documented what you've done in 2023 that can justify the rating that you like to see yourself receive by sharing it with the manager, and that you have written all of the details in order for the manager to understand why you see yourself receiving that rating. Now, I'm not giving a particular rating because I don't know how you see yourself, but I want you to be realistic with it. I don't want you to say, "Oh, don't play yourself down. Know your worth. Whatever you do, know your worth." And in that worth, that means know what you've accomplished, know what you've done, the value that you added to the organization, the challenges that you were faced with, what you put together, what you delivered, what you implemented, who you helped. All of that's a part of what you did during 2023. I'm not saying tell off on anyone. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying document so that your manager can understand the value that you bring into the organization. That's what's essential. Let me see if I have any other questions. Let's see. All right. Collaboration and partnership is the key to growth. Michelle, you said it best. Collaboration. Let's talk about that for a moment, because many times when you're in an organization, sometimes they don't want to collaborate. And why? Think about it for a moment. If money is tied to it and bonuses are tied to it, many times people don't want to collaborate because they want to be shining and being seen as the number one, as the top talent. One of the things that I would say when I was in working for an organization in charge of performance management, and this is what I would say about myself. When you hired me, I was top talent because that's why you hired me. So, ladies and gentlemen, you were hired in the role of responsibilities that you're in because you are the top talent person that they wanted. Don't change your mind about yourself and your abilities. Continue to believe in yourself, knowing that you are top talent. Now, what you must do is continue to show them that you are top talent. So don't be, they hire you in a particular organization and you stop performing once you get the job. No, that's not it. You must perform and you must do outstanding, excellent, execute, deliver, team player, collaborate, and even partner. Michelle mentioned the word partnership. Partnership come in a lot of different ways as well as collaboration. You have internal, because I've been talking about internal employees because it's the end of the year. But what if you're an entrepreneur? You still must collaborate with other entrepreneurs, other business owners. You must partner. There's no reason why we don't partner and help each other. There's enough people in this world for everybody. Now, not one person can do everything for everyone. And that's not your strong suit. That's where you collaborate or you partner with another person. And then you share the wealth. You share the responsibilities and you create those relationships. That's what it's going to take to keep this world going round and around and around, and everybody can have a piece of that pie. So that's good, Michelle, with the collaboration. And Michelle and I, we worked on several projects together. Yes. All right. So that takes us with the performance management piece. I don't see that I have any other questions at this time, but growth. Don't stop growing. Don't stop learning. Always put yourself in a position that you're open and you're coachable and you're approachable. So let other people know that, many times if you're behind the scene person, it's okay. Let individuals know that you're not one of the people who want to be out front, but you can help them behind the scene. Employees are the same way. Not everybody's going to be an extrovert. You have your introverts, and there's nothing wrong with them. That means that they like to work behind the scene. So, managers and leaders, you must understand that about your employees so that you can use their skill set in the best roles and responsibilities for the best projects or the best programs so that everybody is then, loving what they do and doing what they love. All right, now the last part I want to talk about is moving out of 2023 when it comes to students in school, in high school right now. They're, or college. You're getting ready to go into the second semester and you're preparing for your finals for this first semester. But I want you to take a moment and pause and say, how do I learn best in order for me to study for these finals, in order for me to prepare for this final exam? Or what do I need to be doing now that can position me just right for 2024 as I go into the second semester? Now, I will be having an informational session on December the 6th, and it's talking about exactly these things. How do you prep yourself for 2024, 2025 as you complete 2022, 2023 school year? You can't forget about these two, even though you're going from one year into the next year, you still cannot lose sight of them because they're interconnected. And you want to make sure that you're able to continue to move forward in your career and that you're doing it to the best of your abilities. And one of the things to do the best of your abilities is to know your strong suit, is to know your strengths, your everyday abilities that you use that no one had to teach them to you. And then you need to know the strengths that you can add not only to the subject matter, but have you chosen the right degree plan or in the right career? And so that brings it up to the assessment that I do that help individuals to understand what are your skill set? What do you have a love for? What is your purpose? And how do you move forward in selecting the best career for you so that you're thriving and not just surviving? We need to get out of that survival mode. It's about thriving now. COVID has shown us that that's what we need to be doing. Love what we do and do what we love. We don't have time. Tomorrow is not promised. So we do not have time that we want to delay on making sure that we are in the right career, that we're making the salary that we desire so that we can live the lifestyle that we deserve. And that's what we do here at Levelist. We offer those and we make sure that you are in a position to love what you do and do what you love. Okay, let's see. From the student standpoint, the other thing that we talk about and we help students with is academics. And with that, we mean, does a student really understand the electives that they're to select going into 2024? Because they have an opportunity in the second semester to make a change if need to be made, and so now is the time for them to take a look at What's my strong suit? What are my abilities? And the assessment is critical. If they do the assessment during the holiday time, get feedback, and they're ready to know if they can make a change in their curriculum for the remainder of the 23-24, I mean, sorry, 2022-2023 school year. So if they need to make a change. Okay, let's see. And then that's the career part, and then that's the academic part. What about you're working for an organization? You're an ambassador for that organization when you work for them. Whether it's an entrepreneur you're working for, or whether it's a Fortune 500 company, you're an ambassador for that organization. And then being an ambassador means that you are a representative. You are the brand, and the brand is you because you're representing that organization. So your customer service skills are so essential in the manner in which you handle yourself and the manner in which you talk to each other, talk to the managers, or talk to the employees. So customer service is so essential. And it's not just internal, but it's also external. So I want to leave you with these words to think about. When you talk about a customer service experience, you want to make sure that your customers, whether they're internal and external, feel a sense of belonging, that they feel like you're there to support them, that you're there to make their work not have challenging, but in other words, you want to make sure that they're able to complete the work assignment because they have had the proper training, they're in the right role of responsibilities. And if you find yourself that, if you need to have the employees assessed to find out are they in the right role and responsibilities, then we do that here at Levelers as well. We do a competency analysis for the roles and responsibilities of your employees. So just know that we're well rounded, and the whole objective is for success without levels. All employees can be successful, all employees are valuable, and employees can advocate for themselves, or the manager can advocate for them, or another employee or another manager. So let's not leave it to chance that just one person can advocate for just another person. We all are in it together to win. We're all in it together to win, to ensure that the organization is successful. In order for that to happen, each person you want to be successful in that organization. So I trust that I've said something that's going to give you some incentives and have empowered you. I trust that you took these platinum nuggets down this evening. That's going to be able to help you. Let's see. Let me see if I have anybody else out there with any additional questions. Okay. Join the chat. Just join the chat. I was just going to see if there's anything else. Michelle asks about collaboration and partnership. I want to bring up one other thing about that. I want to talk about your search assignment, because you don't always have to jump ship if you want to be promoted or receive additional pay. I want you to think about, don't look for a job, but look for an assignment. Look to see if there is a role and responsibilities within the organization that you work with already that will fulfill you, that will meet those expectations that you have for yourself, those goals and responsibilities, or where you see yourself going in the organization. Start seeking, start volunteering, start asking, start participating. Again, that becomes a part of your completion achievements at the end of the year. And you also know if you what particular roles that you're looking for that maybe could even come available that you could apply for. And make it known to your manager during the performance review what you are interested in doing within the organization. Again, don't wait on them to promote you, promote yourself. I'm the kind of person, when I worked for an organization, I would see a problem. I would put together a proposal for it. I would submit it to my manager. And many times they would agree to it. And voila, I would end up being the one that would be promoted into the position. So just because the position does not exist does not mean it cannot exist. You just have to see the problem. And that's what we do as entrepreneurs, right? We identify the problem and we bring about solutions. As the same thing with an employee. Whether you're working for someone or you're working for yourself, you can still be a problem solver and you can still be a strategist. So put a strategy in place, bring it forth, talk about it, show them how is what it could save money, it could be quality, it could improve safety, it could increase time or decrease time. So look at time, cost, and quality as to when you bring about this problem and the solutions. What is it going to do in order to help the organization? Because remember, I said every person is a part of the bottom line when it comes to the organization. They call that net income before tax. So just know that you are essential to an organization, but you must also show them the value that you're adding to the organization. Don't assume because they hired you, they know the roles and responsibilities they hired you to do, but they don't know how well you're doing them all the time. You have to keep a record of that and you have to bring it forth. And I would suggest that you have a conversation with your manager every month, not once a quarter, but every month. That way, if anything is not synchronized, you can head off any potential problems, get it corrected so that you can meet or exceed your goals and objectives. All right, so someone needs to let me know, how are we doing? Is this been helpful? How are you going to use it? What did you learn? What are your takeaways? Come on now, put in the chat. What are you going to take away and do differently? What you gonna do? What you gonna do? What you gonna do? What you gonna be doing in the rest of 2023? What are you gonna do with the rest of 23? Document if you have not. Ask for a meeting with your manager if you have not. Make sure that you have met your goals that you set for 20 at the beginning of 2023. Go back and revisit them. This is what you can be doing for the rest of this month. And see if there's anything that you can head off before you have that performance review with your manager. So, Michelle, is there any particular takeaway that you see that that you have found for yourself or for your clients that would be helpful to your clients? I always like feedback. I always give you homework. I'm a transformational speaker. Training hasn't taken place until you can apply it. So I want you all to let me know what worked. What did you implement? Michelle said continuous communication is very important. Oh my gracious. That's why I say at least meet with your manager once a month. At least once a month. This has been some great advice. Well, thank you, Michelle. I appreciate you chiming in. I should have had you to come on and be a part of this. Say, dial in and be a part. Come on down and be a part of the conversation in person. But I'm going to open that up next week. That I'm going to open it up. Ask the HR expert and have you to come on and let's have a conversation, because this is the end of the year. There's no reason for you to go into 2024 in the blind and not have a strategy in place. There's no reason for that. No reason whatsoever. So just say, Maxine Pearl Phillips, the talent performance expert, talked about, here's some things, incentives that we can do to help us for 2024, coming out of 2023, going into 2024, that can be beneficial. And she's a show me the money lady. How about that? I'm actually the levelless woman because I am successful without levels. So I think that's going to do it for this evening. Unless you have some additional questions, I want to bid you a farewell, good night. But just know that I believe in you. I trust that you believe in yourself. Move forward, build relationships, collaborate, partnership, and mentor, sponsor, and help others. It's enough people in this world for everyone. We all can't do it all. So, good night and have a great evening.
Telling me to dance, taking a chance. Telling me to dance, taking a chance.